What's going on, Wolfpack fam? It's your boy Kid. We back at it again. Hope everyone is doing great. We got some Ricky Gervais today for you guys. This is season 2, episode 7. This one is called Nightclub, guys. So can't wait for this one. We want to see if they got that club life happening. Let's get it, boys and girls. Let's do this.
Carl, as you're aware, you've obviously got many celebrity fans, and you've also got a new fan, Warwick Davis, who is the short actor that many people will see in films like Return of the Jedi. He also is in Harry Potter. He's 3'6", and Ricky and I worked with him recently. And far from asking us about the many celebrity names that we've worked with, the only person he was interested in talking about, of course, Mr. K. Pilkington.
He wanted to meet you, Carl.
Yeah.
Damn, look at the type.
Well, is he all right to get on with?
Why wouldn't he be?
Just because sometimes when people aren't normal, it's just...
Sorry?
No, I just mean when someone... Like, I've met a few little people in my time. The one that I met a little fella once, and he was all right. He got drunk really quick. But he was all right, but it took me by surprise. Only because, like I've said about when I met Steve for the first time, it's only that same thing. And then if I lived with the little fella, I'm sure we'd get on a storm.
What do you mean when you met
There's
Steve?
a TV show waiting to happen.
Oh, Steve with that punch right there.
Things wear off. That's like the world, isn't it? And it's the same with the little fella you're talking about. First time I see him, I'd be a little bit like, oh, what do you say? Whereas once you get to know him, I'm sure he'd be a lovely little fella.
I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I think so. I think the first time I've ever remembered seeing him was in Leprechaun. That's the one that I really can remember growing up as a kid. That shit scared the shit out of me. Huge horror fan, so that's where I remember him first.
Start, Steve.
Scary.
Warwick asks, really, what are your thoughts on short people, particularly in entertainment? Because, of course, they've, throughout the ages, made an appearance, particularly in fiction. Tom Thumb, of course, the Oompa Loompas.
What do I think of them?
He's just wondering, I suppose, what your take is.
They're all right. I mean, when I was on jury duty, every day I'd sort of see one pop in, and he'd be sort of struggling getting on the chair. And he'd sort of, he wasn't struggling in a way that he felt uncomfortable. He'd obviously climbed a lot of chairs in his time, and this was just another one.
He's just observing.
Watching him, it just makes you think. You go, I should appreciate that I don't have that problem every time I have to sit down and what have you. But I don't think it's that bad. If I had to pick being really tall or really small, I'd go for the really small one because, the world's a more interesting place for him, isn't it? Everything's bigger. Do you know what I mean? We go to New York and go, wow, look at this. And they go and they go, oh, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Everything's a lot bigger. Everything's more amazing.
It is
Food
bigger.
portions. Everything's a bonus. So out of the two, I'd be small, and maybe that's what I'd chat to Warwick about for a bit, just to get to know him.
Brilliant.
It's a shame in a way that he's not been able to pop in. I'd like to hear that conversation.
Oh,
But
man, that would
I've
have been
got,
good.
speaking of like weird stuff and that, I've got a new...
Well, we weren't, but go on.
No, got a new book. Do you know I had that Freaks book? Top 50 Freaks. Got a new one sent to me.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, and do you know, like, everything normally has a name. So, like, if it's the two-headed fella, they're all nicknames like that, aren't they?
They've got two nicknames, I imagine.
But this new book I've got, right, on the cover of this one, it's got, like, a woman with 3 breasts, right?
Ooh,
And she's called the
Rico.
three-breasted woman, as you'd expect. The one face.
Why is she posing nude, though? That's what I want to know.
Tart.
Well, she looked happy. And there was a...
You gotta show it off, but the guy on the bottom left, he looked like my boy Samuel L. Jackson a little bit.
fella with like one face but 2 bodies.
Do one face but 2 bodies.
One face, 2 bodies.
What do you mean one face, 2 bodies?
Surely one head, 2 bodies.
Head as well, but it was mainly the face that was weird because he looked fed up.
What are you talking about? How
What
can
are you
have
talking
a face
about?
without a head?
How can you have... What do you mean? How did it join to the neck?
No, it did have a head, but the fact is, it was weird that it had one face to me.
What do you mean?
Well,
if you've
of
got
course
one
he had-
head, you'll have one face.
Yeah, I know, but it was the fact that he had one face and 2 bodies that I didn't think.
But
one
why do
head...
you keep saying one face and 2 bodies as
Why
opposed to
not one
one
head?
head and 2 bodies? We're all the man with one face.
Yeah, but now I've got one body.
Right, we are.
Yeah, well, surely he's the man with 2 bodies then. Again, the description.
Roll up, see the man with one face.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So it's full of stuff like that, right? And what I'm saying is that fella, you know, the one-faced man, the three-breasted woman.
He wouldn't be known.
A man with one face. I always like that Ricky tries to get to the bottom of what Carl is saying. That's what makes it funny. Stevens be jabbing him and stuff.
Just
Really
the
good.
one-faced man is what I'm saying.
Well,
that isn't the peculiar thing about him.
Yeah, well, they all had
Bollocks.
names like that. But
Right.
there was one thing in it that didn't even have a nickname. It was so weird.
What do you mean?
It just said unidentified.
What does it look like?
Sort of testicles for eyes. That's
the hell?
it just reminded me when you were
What do
talking
you
about
mean
strange.
testicles for eyes?
And what is it? Did he have a normal body?
I didn't even look at that.
Oh,
No,
so
that's what I'm
for fuck's
saying. There,
sake.
you're attracted to the oddness of the thing, and that's what I was saying about
Warwick.
Warren when he walks in.
Warwick.
You know,
He said Warren.
It'll be odd for a minute, and then I'm sure
For him.
He'll
For
get
him it
over
will be, yeah.
He'll get used to you.
He'll
got
get
my head
used to
round it a bit more, and the way that there's loads of people in the world, and yet you don't see people with like dangly eyes more often. It amazes me.
I love the fact that he's amazed by not seeing freaks.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He's walking down the street going, oh, everyone's got one head. That's weird.
Suzanne, see any dangly eyes today? No, me neither.
How could she see? Because she's carrying all that stuff, man. This got to be making me feel like I'm watching American Horror Story.
It's weird, isn't it? What's going on in the world?
Testicle eyes. Oh, man.
Went out the other night with the lads.
Okay.
You
Pub
know,
life.
there's a few of us, you know, young, free and single.
Must look like the Swingers.
Oh,
That's
it was
where you
pretty.
start.
It looked like a boy band had gone out. It looked like,
Really?
it looked like, you know, NSYNC had hit the streets.
right.
Yeah. A friend of mine said, let's go to a club. Right, I haven't been to a nightclub for a long time, actually. I haven't been.
Is that because your glasses steam up when you walk in out of the cold?
That is a problem in the winter. I genuinely, it's very difficult to make a good impression. When
That
you,
happens
as
a
you
lot
walk
to
in,
me.
your glasses steam up straight away. And, you know, you got to take them off and clean them and stuff. And then, you know, you get a bit.
On your white fronts, you pull your white fronts up through the jeans,
Yeah.
clean them on that.
He pulled his tiny whiteys out, man. That's a struggle for us with glasses, guys.
The back of a girl's dress. But we cruised down to the club. It's one of those big sort of London super clubs. And it's a bit of a queue. I think it's a bit of a chore. But we're queuing up. We're in good spirits. We're looking at it. It sounds pretty funky. We can hear the music coming out. You know, been in the queue for quite a while, 20, 25 minutes.
Forget it. 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, we were pretty excited by this point.
25.
The doorman says, hello, lads. I said, yeah, we're coming, please. He went, no, you're not. I went,
Really?
"What?" He said, you're not coming in. And he just immediately lifted the little rope and sent us away from the queue, right? And we were slightly
Yeah.
perplexed. We were dumbfounded. We didn't know what to do. It was like this couldn't be happening. It didn't make sense. We just queued up what was going on. And so my friend said, well, we got to find out why he's not going to let us in. So he goes back over.
I thought you wanted to do. You wanted to tie him up with logic. That'll show a bouncer.
Exactly.
Yeah, show him how educated you are and how you can win an argument and make him look stupid. You'll be in that club in no time.
That's what they appreciate. They love that. Because what they respect is being made to look like a fool.
Yeah, they love that shit.
So we went over and...
They really look up to intellectuals.
exactly, yeah.
They'll whoop your ass.
So one of our mates goes over and he says, why didn't you let us in? And he went, because you didn't have any girls with you.
No.
Now, I'll tell you this. That's kicking you when you're down. Because when you're out on a Saturday night trying to get into a club to meet women, and the reason you're not allowed to go in a club to meet women is because you haven't got any women with you, that's just salt in the wound. It's so humiliating.
Kick them right in the
So,
balls.
a friend of mine says that there's a VIP entrance over there. There was like a woman with a clipboard, you know, the guest list. Separate entrance. She said, you know, you've got a little bit of profile, Steve. Why don't we try and use your...
Yeah.
You
little bit
ran
of
home,
celebrity?"
got your Golden Globe in your
Let's
Emmy.
go,
Yeah,
Steve.
exactly. Well, I always carry, you know, some of my cuttings with me.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit self-conscious about that. I was thinking, I'm not into this, you know, it's a bit awkward. But he said, look, don't worry, you just stand here. Just stand here, just like you're having a conversation. I'll go over, I'll point him out, I'll go, oh, there's, you know, Steve Merchant over there, at the office. Or whatever.
Oh, God, Steve.
So I thought, well, you know, the thing is, we were out, and I was a bit frustrated, and I thought, you know, we may as well try everything. So I stand there, my friend goes over and he has a word, and he comes back and he says, it's fine. She can't let us in the VIP entrance because she's not allowed, but what she can do is walk us to the front of the queue, right? You can walk to the front of the queue and explain. So I think, okay, fine.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So we walk past everyone else, right, to the front of the queue, right?
That's
She
a
goes
big
up
shot.
to the guy, she says, this is Steve Merchant office. The guy goes, I know he is, we're not letting him in.
Oh, God.
By now, of course, some people have recognised me, so they're trying to have my photo taken. So there's people inside the line that's being allowed in the club. I've got to lean across the rope to have my photo taken with them, even though I'm not allowed in the club. So they go, oh, all right, this is Steve, they're having the photos taken, right, camera phones and that. They're going into the club where the music, the party's kicking off. I'm outside waiting for the next chump who wants to have his photo taken. I mean, it was mental.
Oh, shit.
So,
That's unbelievable.
I was furious, and then one guy, I remember he was chatting, and he goes, oh yeah, brilliant, I love the podcast and all that stuff, I love Is Carl with you? I said, oh, Carl's not out here. And his girlfriend, she went, who's that? And he went, oh, it's just Steve Merchant, he does the office, he does the thing. And she went, who cares? Who are you, Bruce Forsyth? And it's that thing when suddenly I'm being humiliated and embarrassed by someone's girlfriend. I never asked for that. I never asked for her opinion on me. I'm sorry if I don't impress you, if I'm not sufficiently famous for you, but it's not my fault. It's your girlfriend who brought it up. It was like I'd gone over to her and tried to show off, and she was annoyed. So by now I was just furious. So I thought, forget this.
Well, I was walking down the street, and there's a group of builders sitting down having a cup of tea. One of them goes, all right, Rick. I went, all right, mate. The other one went, not as fat as on telly.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, lad.
Not as fat as on telly. So he went with, well, you are fat, but you look even fatter on telly. He didn't say, oh God, you don't look fat at all, or oh, you look big on telly, but you don't look fat. Just went with, not as fat as on telly. And there's nothing I could say, but cheers, mate.
Yeah, it's all about the choice of the words, but I like the nightclub scene right now. It's really funny.
You said cheers, mate, because did you say that because you're... Because I'd say cheers, mate, because I'd be a little bit scared of them.
No, I was
I'd be worried about
it's
the
like
repercussions.
sarcasm, and you know, I laughed after. Yeah.
So you can get away with sarcasm with working class blokes.
I'm a little bit more secure with a working class male than you, aren't I?
I'm terrified of them. I feel like they're going to turn on me at any minute.
You don't feel confident sort of backing in a lorry driver?
Terrified.
Oh, right.
Because if I did, he'd probably lean out and just go and get your dad, mate.
Yeah, not you.
Fuck off, I'm not
Not
interested.
you. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Oh, is everything all the way down?
Yay!
That jingle there signifying, of course, once again, another reading from the Diary of Carl Pilkington.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, of course, for those of you who have not been keeping abreast of Carl's medical complaints, just bring us up to speed, Carl. You had to go into hospital because previously you'd had
I've been in
treatment.
and out, honestly. I've been in and out of that hospital just with
Prostate
kidney
stuff.
problems.
Probably kidney shit.
Really painful and what have you. And yeah,
He had kidney stones, all right.
No,
It's
but
sorted.
seriously.
I had a bit of a lie-in today because I have to get up early for my operation tomorrow. Not only have I got to have tubes shoved up my knob, but I also have to get up at 5:50. Suzanne said I could have what I want for my last dinner. It's not your last dinner, you're going for an operation.
Yeah, but you can't take things for granted these days.
Oh, for
I had shepherd's pie and peas. Suzanne made it from scratch. As nice as it was annoying. Because making stuff from scratch means loads of pots, and it's my job to do the washing up. So much as the food was nice, there was loads of pans and that. People who get their last dinner on death row don't have to wash up.
Yeah,
Got
the
up at
Last Supper.
5:55. You were supposed to be getting up at 5:50 on the other page. You were 5 minutes late getting up.
He's often late.
Often late. Got to the hospital and had to wait in the waiting room. There was another 9 people in there waiting to be sorted. I got called in. They sat me on a bed and took all my details down. 5 minutes later, I'd been knocked out. I got woke up when they were ripping a pipe out of my throat. I felt more rough this time. The doctor came to see me and said he couldn't find a stone, so I must have passed it. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, we filled your kidney with water and expanded it, and there was no hiding place. I sat in the recovery room for an hour while they found me a bed. One of the fellows who was sat in the room with me this morning got wheeled in. They couldn't wake him up. All the nurses were laughing because he didn't want to wake up. I bet they were laughing at me when I was in the theatre. Someone told me they totally strip you when they're operating. I would have looked like the alien on the Boswell incident.
Boswell!
It's quite a nice analogy if it weren't for the fact that you said Boswell.
It's
It's the Roswell incident. Didn't sleep much through the night because there was a 60-year-old fella shouting at the nurse about his pillows. I don't think I slept through a full hour with one thing or another going on. My bed was next to the toilet, so I kept hearing the flush.
How do they sleep in hospitals, though? They wake you up to give you fucking sleeping pills and things, don't they? How do you sleep in there?
I don't know what it is. There's no air. There was an old fella across from me who kept breaking wind. He didn't even try and cover it. He was just of that age where he didn't care. Just like, that's what I do. I'm in the hospital, leave me alone.
They can't help that shit. I remember being trapped in the elevator with someone, and every time I would see her, we would pass frequently and stuff, she would always, shoot the shit with me, and she'd be like, no shame in the game, and the shits would be stinky. So one day, I got her back, though. I made sure I had a good one for her. I just freaking ripped gas, and I was like, yeah. Now you know what I freaking smell every freaking day, but at the same time, they can't help that shit. I do feel bad sometimes. They just can't help it. And I'll get you back if you fart on me, you freaks.
What do you mean?
Just, I don't know what was wrong with him. I talked to him because at first I felt sorry for him. I was a little bit like, he's had no visitors. No one's calling him up, so I'll talk to him. But then he got that familiar with me that he'd just be doing it whilst I'm chatting to him. Just like he's my granddad or something. It's just like, oh, that's what he does. It's like, well, I'm ill as well. Stop doing that.
Scolded by Carl.
Honestly, unbelievable. He didn't even try and cover it with a cough. It was just like, that's...
With a cough? How would you cover it with a cough?
Just non-stop.
Asking for the
Got home,
impossible.
sat down. My pains are coming back, but the doctor said this would happen, that my insides are still in shock, so I need to take it easy. It's 9 o'clock. I'm in agony. I can't do the diary for the rest of the day.
Jesus.
So you may as well just tell us then what happened.
Suzanne just got frustrated with me because I was rolling about on the floor and she was trying to watch Arthur. Right? So that was on the other night.
I was with your lodger.
So,
And she said, look, if you're in pain, do something. She said,
you went and got a cold plate.
Yeah. No, use an ashtray. Plates are for liver damage.
Got in a taxi. He filled up on the way, which was annoying.
He didn't.
Cheeky.
That really, I mean, he could
On
see
the
I was
way
in
to the
pain.
hospital.
So,
Because he's not an ambulance driver.
so anyway,
messed
he
up.
gets us there and he doesn't charge us, which is pretty decent.
Oh, that's all right, yeah.
So
All right.
this gay fella came through.
How
And,
do you know he was gay?
just the way he was. I'm not having a go. He was a good fella. Do you know what I mean?
A doctor, you mean?
No, he was he was a nurse.
Right.
And he came through and just sort of went, oh, how are you? And I was like, oh, I've had better days. So he got
As
me
you
on
mentioned in the diary, I remembered the first time when I came here, they said the nurse might put a tablet up my arse. I thought the chances of that happening had just increased.
Oh!
Yeah, but I would
Put
have
up
let him
the
do
arms.
it. Honestly, I was that sort of out of it. That,
Of course you'd let him do it. He's a qualified nurse.
No, but the way I am now, say if it was just a tablet for sorting out my blood pressure, and I walked in there and he went, oh, hello. And he said, yeah, let's pop that. I'd go, hang on a minute. but what I mean is that night, I would have just let him put 3 up, honestly. It's just weird, isn't it, how your body just goes, let them get on with it, and you trust anyone, don't you? When you're in that much pain and you need
And
help.
they're a qualified nurse, yes. Carl, of course,
do it.
has written a poem about the experience entitled My Ward.
All I've done here, I've been through I don't know what the word is, a bad experience.
Trauma.
A trauma, yeah. I've been through a load of trauma. So I'm just finishing it off with a little sort of picture for people.
Go on then.
Me, a Chinese fella, and an old bloke who looked like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Don't know what was wrong with him, but breaking wind was the symptoms. No one visited him or called him. He seemed quite lost to me. As well as wind problems, he had a colostomy.
Back.
When I left, I said, see you to the old man. Turned out the other fella wasn't Chinese. He was from Japan. And then I
Guy's the
found out what
illest
was up with
poet,
him.
baby. Illest poet, guys.
You've got a little picture there, haven't you, of me sat in my ward. I'm sat there with that fella who I didn't talk to, the old fella who had wind problems. And that's what a poem is, isn't it?
But the detail about you thought he was Chinese and he turned out to be Japanese, how is that evocative? That's just a piece of misinformation.
It's just
I like it.
I imagine a lot of people making
I
the
like
same
it because
mistake.
you know why? It's like he even makes digressions within his poem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like he could have gone back and erased that, but he didn't. He left that digression
fair.
in, and I think that's great.
It's pretty honest.
Brilliant, baby.
Had a late night last night because I stayed up to watch a programme about monkeys.
Loves his monkeys.
It's already good.
Of course he is.
It's already good.
Now, before I read on, I mean, is this not some kind of monkey news? Is this not a late return to monkey news?
Well, it's not that good.
Is it not? Whereas the other monkey news is...
Oh, chimpanzee, that's some more shit.
This is what he says. This is what he gleaned from the programme about monkeys. It sat on a bridge and wanted stuff off people to walk over the bridge.
What?
So it was acting as some kind of toll booth,
This
was
is
it?
ridiculous.
No, it was a bridge in like the jungle,
Oh, shut the
jungle bridge?
fuck up.
and it's a monkey that sat on a bridge,
Ricky.
and a lot of tourists go through the area.
No, it's a monkey
to look at them.
who realised that if he sits there, he'll get stuff because it look like it's a cute little chimp begging.
No, but every time.
Yeah, because you give a monkey, you give it. Oh, I'm as bad as him now. If you give a chimpanzee a banana, and he starts realising that humans have things to give.
Yeah, but it's all
squirrels
sorts of
learn
stuff.
that. But you don't go. Oh, you wouldn't say. Oh, went to the park. The squirrels waiting at the gate. You have to give them a toll to go in. They don't. They're only going to give them a nuts. They come up to you every time. You fucking idiot.
Went to bed after watching it and fell asleep thinking about it on the bridge right now. It's a bit bad, really, because the monkey should work harder for its food. It made me remember the slug I saw yesterday that was eating bird poo.
Oh, God, what?
Nobody would ever help a slug with food like they do with ducks and monkeys. A slug's life is pretty bad. The only time they come out of their den is when it's raining.
Den.
So even their days out are depressing.
It is. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It is like it's a horrible thing to be in it. A
We
slug.
don't know.
I love him talking about what is it like to be a slug.
No, just because like the monkey, even though it's been quite aggressive, everyone was like, "Oh, give it some water," and it was well like kitted out. It had like chocolate bars, bottled water, some like fizzy stuff, and all that.
An iPod, it was listening to Monkey News.
He could have had one if it wanted one. It was getting away with murder on that bridge, and that's just because it was furry. Yeah, if that was like a blob, like a slug, there's no way people would be that friendly towards it. And it just annoys me how you get this pecking order for like no matter what creature you are, favouritism. And that slug was
Life,
only eating
baby.
that bird poo because it wasn't being offered stuff.
If it was offered toffees or whatever.
Well, it's just sad, isn't it? It's come to that. That's what its life has come to.
Yeah, but it's not as
was
mollusk
raining, like
that's
I said.
down on its fucking luck.
It didn't live in a big country house,
No,
and his
but it
wife
is.
left it. The
I
kids
was
went. It started hitting the
watching
bottle.
it, and I kind of thought, and look, they do only come out in the rain, and it's depressing, and it'll probably get killed in a bit. And that was its last meal.
Gee,
I just,
Damn,
But
slug
it
life.
wouldn't prefer steak and chips, Carl. It
no, but a
doesn't have.
leaf. It must like a leaf or at the end of the day, it's an insect. They love
It's
it.
not an insect.
Well, it's part of that gang. It's part of that. No, it's part of
They
that.
hang out together. They hang out together.
Why do you think it's part of that
Because
gang?
it knocks about in the woods in the same place as a spider does. But what I'm saying is they're eating boring stuff because that is what's
It's
in
not
their
boring
area.
stuff to them. They're not. I have no opinion of it at all. They take in sustenance.
No, but where you are is what you eat. When I'm in London, I'll have beans on toast for lunch. On holiday, what? Tapas? Go on, I'll have a bit. So it's whatever you eat, what's in that area.
Suzanne went off to work and I went to the shop to buy some envelopes. The shop was empty, but the fella behind the counter was on the phone and just kept talking even though he could see I was waiting. I started to count backwards from 20. When I got to 6, he hung up and served me. I won't use the shop again. Question, why count backwards from 20?
So he's thinking, what's going to happen at 1? If I start counting from 1, he's going, well, let him carry on.
What, out loud?
So, not really loud, but like more of a mouth action, so he could see who was doing it. Do you know, like
Sorry, you just started miming counting backwards to a man in a shop.
He's on the phone. The shop
Yes.
is empty. I
Yes.
thought he'd like me custom. He could have served me and stay on the phone. Even though I don't like that, at least he's still doing what he needs to do.
I'd have said,
working the
sorry,
shop.
can I just get these, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I would've done.
stood there and I thought, it's annoying me now. My kidneys aching and I started to get a bit of a sweat on. So I thought, right, I'm going to give him 20 seconds, and if he hasn't got off the phone, I'm leaving.
You are
giving
one of the
yourself.
No
strangest
way,
people.
no way I do that.
It's just giving yourself a thing. I could have been stood there for
free.
ages.
He's one of the strangest people who's free to walk.
Yeah.
It's
the
about,
streets.
no, I set myself a little target and I thought I don't want to waste another 30 seconds in here. I'll give him 20. It worked. He served me at 6.
But it didn't work. Yeah, but did he do it because you were doing that, or did he finish his phone call?
I don't know. I was busy counting.
Waste of time, guys. Oh, shit. The banter between these guys is legendary today. Love it. Oh, shit! Dude, like, when you go to the store and somebody is on the phone, I mean, like, Do you honestly wait a long time for it? I ain't waiting 20 seconds, especially if I'm in a rush. Then unfortunately, I'm gonna be like, sir, ma'am, kind of in a rush. Can you please just, check my shit out for me? And I'll try to say it as respectful as possible. Because they could be talking to the boss, whoever they could be talking to. But sometimes, believe it or not, they're freaking just talking to their friend or some bullshit. So if I'm in a rush, I'm not waiting. I'm definitely not counting 20 seconds backwards. That's some bullshit. I ain't waiting on that. Let me know what you would do in that scenario. And then what he's talking about with the hierarchy, with, favoritism with animals, that's just true. We all have our favorite animals that we like in certain orders and stuff. Some people like cats more than dogs, or dogs, cats, fish or whatever. We all kind of have a favoritism. That goes with in life. But the nightclub scene, hands down, I like the animation that was going on there. And I don't really get to talk too much about the animation of the show, but I dig it. I really like it. And that's just based because, we grew up watching a lot of cartoons and animes. So the animation on the show, I don't normally say much about it, but it's a strong point for me. It has its moments where I feel like I'm watching the Flintstones a little bit. So they do a really good job, and I think that's really a strength of the show. The jabs that they were doing today on Carl, spot on. You just really honed on it. Really good jabs. I always like, you say, you fucking idiot. I mean, those small things that they do, I love. And it just works so well when they're talking with Carl. So solid job, solid episode. Nightclub scene, hands down, the favorite part of the episode. Really good. As always, you guys tell me what you guys love, but that's what I loved. See you soon. Peace and love. Love you guys. Peace.